Here at the heart of Ōtara, at 40 Lovegrove Crescent, lies Accelerating Aotearoa. It's known for its many community services and technology outreach programs. It's also where MyRivr has its call centre.
Kia ora, my name is Robert Perelini. I am the project lead for Trust MyRivr.
When you visit, you're greeted by our friendly and caring full-time staff, like Esther here, who can help you get connected to the MyRivr app.
Okay, I'm a call centre operator for the MyRivr safety line. What I do is I help our clients connect to a provider that can assist them with their needs.
Okay. All right, Grace, like we spoke about earlier, this is our app, okay, and these are the things that we can provide assistance for you. So,
At Trust MyRivr, we provide technological solutions for our communities using our app so they can find help as they need it.
Now, let me tell you about the MyRivr app. Imagine having access to the whole database of community services right at your fingertips. That's what MyRivr gives you.
So with our app and using our call centre, they can call through our call centre and access services that we can connect them to.
Looking for details about a service provider? MyRivr has got you covered. It'll tell you the location, opening hours, how far away it is. We use some clever GPS technology to make sure you're referred to services in your area or near where you live. In the near future, we'll be growing to offer a range of languages, 24-hour response, and reaching more communities.
We're able to connect them to government agencies to help them through what they are entitled to and their needs.
You'll get updates, can leave feedback, and receive important alerts too. And if you ever need emergency or refuge services, they're available as well.
Welcome to the MyRivr safety line. You're speaking with Twainy.
Remember, all calls to us are strictly confidential. Our call experts, like Twainy here,
And your address, please.
are ready to help you in whatever way they can.
I love about my job, I love talking to people, I just love helping people.
So what I love about my job is being able to help people and to hear in their voices that we make a difference, and especially those that don't know where to start looking for help. So we're here to help them or to connect them, to the right people.
Also, I just love working here.
With our team at the call centre and the MyRivr app, you're never alone.
This podcast is proudly supported by the Ōtara Network Action Committee, ONAC, community owned, community driven and community led.
Kia ora mai tātou, Kauriri Spate Takuingawa, and I'm back with you again, hoki mai anō ki We Are Otara. This is the place where you hear Ōtara stories straight from the community to you, because we know it's really important to tell our stories here. Today I am with a guy I've known for a hell of a long time.
20 plus years.
The amazing Robert Perelini. And Robert's role is as founder and trustee for Trust MyRivr. He also serves in a number of other commercial roles, but we're going to be talking about MyRivr today, I hope, aren't we, Rob?
Yeah, we sure are.
Woohoo! So maybe for our people out there, can you give us a bit of a background on the MyRivr story? Where did it come from?
Sure. So my name's Robert Perelini. I am one of the co-founders of the MyRivr app. It was an idea that came out in 2016 when I just finished selling my company and decided to do something for the community. And I was approached by the police at the time at a function, and they were looking for some ideas in regards to an app that provided a digital pathway or a information on where the local social services were. And he knew that I'd been in the IT space for about 20 years, so he asked me if I could help him develop this app. And then my first question was, oh, well, what's your budget? And his was nothing. So I thought to myself, okay, well, that's a good start. So I was able to look at some of my networks that I'd worked in the past and ask them about putting together a concept of an app. At the time, apps were quite popular.
Yeah, I remember that you've always been committed to that app space, haven't you?
Yeah.
Some people are still trying to work out what it is, and it's deep within you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that my background in IT was really infrastructure as a service. So I was sort of, I had a cloud service company, and but I could see the growth of mobile apps becoming really popular in 2016, well, a lot earlier than that. Even though I'm not a coder or designer or anything like that, but I knew that was going to be a real big market coming. And so when the police, we went and did a bit of a scoping plan with the New Zealand police, and they came up with what the current state was. So when police were actually walking on the streets and talking to people, and they could see some of them could have mental health or they were homeless and stuff like that, they actually carried a whole lot of cards with them from social services, and they'll distribute those out. Or they'll ring friends and people that they know that they've interacted. Yeah, because they couldn't remember the numbers.
No.
And so that was the actual activity that they used to do.
So I'd be lying on the side of the road with a drug overdose, and you'd give me a card to phone MSD?
Well, if you're on a drug overdose, they'll just call emergency services.
Oh, okay.
But if you were sort of like...
Lost and lonely.
Yeah, if you were sort of like, you're homeless and you're sort of in family violence, for example, is another example, they would have to try and figure out which agency to call. And they did have I think on hand they may have had about 3 or 4 they could call, maybe 2. But they would just use the same one over and over and over, not realising there's like multiple services around.
And no feedback on how that actually went either.
Exactly.
And we know there's 7,500 social services out there anyway, aren't there?
Actually there's just over 8,000 official ones that come from the MSD's Family Services Directory, for example, but they have over about 100,000 social services across the country.
It's a lot of cars to carry in your pocket.
Yeah, it is. And I guess from there, when we could see the need, we felt there was a real good need for that, because if we were able to empower the police with an app that they could just find social services, call them, the information's tap of the finger, etc. We saw that as an amazing opportunity, and so we decided that we knew that they didn't have a budget. We decided to design it ourselves and invest in it ourselves, and I got a few investment partners as well to invest in a fantastic idea.
I seem to remember you sold your house, didn't you?
We won't go into that. No, that was one of the investment properties, investment house. But it was just, I just thought it was a great idea. It was worth selling a property to invest in something that was great. So. But I wasn't the only one that invested. There was lots of other people who not just invested money, also invested time. And so from there we probably spent about a good 3 years, almost 3 years on that project, and quite a lot of money in there and time. And I think once we realised that it wasn't going to go anywhere, I think the app was quite telling. It was very transparent on how interactions were happening within the community, what was happening with the service providers.
So, you mean how long it took them to come back, and did they create an outcome for the client?
Yeah, we realised that there was a bit of a disconnect between what the providers were saying and what the community was saying about the service providers. Yeah. And we found that within 3 months...
That absolutely affects the government funding that they get. So the government could be actually, in truth, funding something that doesn't work at all. It's just funding a good story.
Absolutely.
It's pretty scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I guess the thing what we found in our report, because we did almost a 90-page report for the police and just said, here are the findings, here are the massive savings. The savings was in the millions. And we put the report out. We actually discussed with we found these discrepancies between providers and the service they delivered to community. We sort of challenged that with the government at the time, with the MSD, which is pretty much the biggest funder for social services. We had a rating system as well, so we did, I think with 2 officers on this first pilot run that we did, we had 2 police officers using the app. Within a space of 3 months, or 2 to 3 months, we did over 800 referrals just with 2 officers in that 3-month period. The thing was that during that period while our project team was sort of managing the interactions between providers and community, that the feedback was a worry. It was a very worry. It was a telling issue.
Sounds a bit of a time bomb though for some of those people.
It was because we found that providers, through the data that we found, the providers that were not were providing the best were the ones that weren't funded, and the ones that we found that were having the worst ratings were the ones that were heavily funded. And so that in itself became a bit of a sticky point between our application being too transparent and our communities having a lot more say about how they were being serviced by the providers. So that became a problem. I think the thing in the end, we ended up, the police ended up, at the time, we actually built 3 training videos for the police with actual real police officers using the app. That was exciting.
Movie stars in the making.
We had a tour. We were doing a road trip of the new app that was coming out for the police to be on their phones. We were actually talking to one of the assistant commissioners. I don't know if she was assistant commissioner, I think the district commander at the time. We'd gone to Wellington, we had promoted it, we said this is the new app, and we were really excited. And then when the actual real findings came out with the data, there was a big 360 turnaround. And there was
I think I've heard that from community too, that there were some potentially recipients of those public funds that really didn't want the truth to be coming out. And I wonder if that's changed today even.
I would say so. It's well, to cut a long story short, I think the thing is what happened was that we didn't go forward with it, but we already had an initial plan was to release a free version of that app into the community.
So take us there, that vision around supporting community through organisational structure, really, wasn't it? I remember when you first started talking about it, it was incredible.
The reality, the long-term plan for us with the app was that we wanted to release the community version to empower them with the app, for them to take responsibility to find social services and to be able to track their journey through, whether it's through mental health, addiction, homelessness, or budgeting services. They can have a history of all the services they've actually engaged in, so that way anyone dealing with them can have a better holistic view of their journey.
Yeah.
And that's controlled by the user themselves versus the provider controlling the access. So
quite a novel flipping of the power model, isn't it? It really, it's not something we often see where community own and control their destiny, I suppose, and it's access to knowledge, access to information.
Absolutely, and I think that's how it should have been. We tend to rate everything in our services, like we rate movies, we rate restaurants, we rate pretty much everything else except for social services. There's no accountability, transparency in social services. So the app was enabling that type of visibility and transparency for our community, to have a platform, to have a voice, to be able to say, that whether you're going to come and service our community, we should be allowed to say 1 star, 2 star, 3, 4, 5 stars. Right? Yeah. So
why not? It's
absolutely.
Money.
It is taxpayers' money,
and it's also our own livelihood and our own health and well-being. Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. I think the thing is that what providers do, and there are amazing providers out there. I'm not saying they're all like that, but I'm saying that. Could you imagine if a community person had to pay that? Get a choice to pay for which services he gets to use, right? Instead of the provider being given all this funding, you give a card to a user and say, here, this card is It gives you access to anything. So any service you do, it's your money. And so you go, I'm going to use this.
And in fact, that's what Bill English did with aged care, didn't he?
Yes,
he
that's
did.
right.
He created that flip,
Yeah.
and it's been highly successful from my experience of it anyway,
I
personally.
think he was doing it for disabilities as well.
As well, yeah.
As well, I think,
It's
yeah.
more slightly
Because we
difficult path.
thought that made a lot of sense, because then that way the providers become a true business, responsible
Yes.
and transparent. Because
Yeah.
if I don't like it, I'm not going to spend my money with you. I'm going to go with somebody else
Yeah.
and spend my money there.
Yeah.
And that's like the doctors. If you see GP services,
Mm.
you get subsidised every time you go to a doctor, whichever doctor you're registered with.
Yes.
However, if you go to another doctor, you're not their customer, so you have to pay premiums.
Yeah.
That's not subsidised.
I've
So
had that experience.
yeah, so
Yeah.
but through our strategy originally was about
Hang on, just if
Yep,
we just
sure.
before we move on there, that whole, because that isn't something how I've thought about it before.
Oh.
So this whole health model, aged care model, disability model, actually has used this customer focused approach to the provision of public services
I believe so, yeah.
and private services, which is so why are we so hesitant in this space? So I know that what happened next was that you came to, you took this community-based idea and you said, okay, let's try this with a community, and that's where Ōtara steps into the frame, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Ōtara has always been a main focus for the delivery of our app. At the current moment, we've got about 7,500 users currently on our app, and a lot of them are government agencies. But what happened was, this was over a 6-year period. So in 2020, we actually were launching a kiosk as well. So we've done quite a lot of heavy lifting in regards to needs assessments on the digital divide that we see in the South Auckland space. So we actually had planned to look at working in libraries and stuff with a kiosk. So we had a kiosk option. And we were sort of working with the Citizens Advice Bureau to replace a lot of their pamphlets. Instead of using that, they can print out through these kiosks.
Because they were in that same situation where they had
Millions of pamphlets.
100,000 cards in their pockets. Yeah.
So we ended up building 2 prototypes of kiosks. We got funded by Foundation North, which was amazing for them to fund us to deliver that social good. Unfortunately, when we launched everything in Ōtara, because that's where our primary ground zero was, and delivering it, it happened to be March 2020.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the day the week we launched, and then the week came, COVID locked everybody down. So that sort of put a hold on all of us. So that did happen over the 2 or 3 year period that we just sort of pretty much been stagnated.
But the fact you're here today just shows the resilience of the entity, but also your personal resilience.
I guess the thing is that what we did realise during COVID that there was a huge need for it. We weren't prepared, but we were very restricted in regards to pushing our app out there, our virtual doctor with the app, etc. And so what happened in the end, once the dust had settled and the COVID restrictions had been removed, we were sort of rebuilding, which is what we did in 2022. And then during that period, while we were in the rebuilding stages, I think in mid-2022, that's when ONAC came and asked us if we would be interested in our app had been recognised of what's been happening, and then they came up to us and it was Jane and yourself and said, could we, they want to come back and use your app for another project, a safety feature they want to add to the app.
So that was an interesting time from ONAC's perspective, because we'd been trying to create this, address the feeling for community to feel safe.
Yeah.
That in our community at Ōtara had said we don't feel safe, and so we'd had this sort of conversation with the community, and I remember it was a couple of people put their hands up to say, we've got an idea, and I think it was one of the Auckland councillors and also one of the regional cops were both there, Scott Gemmell and Lotu Fully, And they both said, yes, what we need is an app, and actually we need that MyRivr app here at Ōtara. So that was when ONAC approached you, wasn't it? In response to that call, and knowing that you had already had a footprint, understanding of the community. I mean, how lucky ONAC was, really.
Well, we had some concerns. We had a bit of we had concerns because we'd dealt with the police in the past as well. So I don't know if you realise that the police, they ended up building a similar app.
I hear that they don't like it much either.
Yeah,
Did I say that on here?
Yeah. So I think the thing was that so we had already developed an ethos, which was that we wanted the community to drive the app, and that was part of our ethos. So. And that's when I spoke to you and Jane. I said, we're not interested if it's going to be provider driven. We've already done that, been there. We really need to work towards community driving it. So it's got to be a co-create, a co-design, and a co-deliver scenario, because that's what our ethos is. It's a longer, harder journey, but I think yourself and Jane convinced us that was the method. So we decided, okay, so we reviewed it, and we were partially funded by you guys to do that extra feature. So we
had foundational support at that point, so they and lotteries.
So we designed the setup for the ONAC MyRivr safety app, what we had done with the police, because we knew that was a successful model. Yeah. And we knew that there was a component that was missing in the community one, but we. When you spend over millions of dollars on an app, you don't want to keep doing that, especially if it's a free app. So
it just shows your commitment, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that we decided we'll go as far as piloting it and setting up the call centre, as we've done, and then helping support that, as well as you driving it. And I think there was huge potential, and the data is not as big as the police, but smaller. But it's the whole the information that we've got, the data that we've got, still says the same thing as what we did in 2016. So we definitely know that
validates the stats, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think the thing is that we're getting better with the data that we're receiving. And I think it's just been over a year now we've been running it, and with a small team with very little to no money, which is really tough to do. And I think the thing is that we're hoping this whole thing will pay off, but we have seen that the app has empowered a lot of the groups that we are dealing with. I think about,
very definitely.
A couple of hundred people, but also within amongst that cohort of 200, there's about 400 people involved in that. So, so there's regular calls. There's a sort of trust factor that's been building up, and so we're wanting to. What we've learned is that now it's going to come down to the integration of technology now, because since last year, I think in the last 6 months, the invent of artificial intelligence has become the real focus point on industry, and everybody is going there. It's just crazy. But not just
see the power of it coming through. And I remember it's only like a year since you were trying to get me to use ChatGPT, and I was resisting. And now I use it all the time, probably every day actually.
Good.
And my mate Pi.
Yeah, I should. So ChatGPT and the likes and those sort of large language models, they're called large language models. They are just evolving every single day. So with us, we had to step back and wait what the development was once ChatGPT 3.0 exploded into the universe, into our world, about 8 months ago or 9 months ago, or a little bit longer. But it was like a real eye-opener to the power of technology, the evolution of technology that's coming in. Yeah. And so what we did is that we had to wait until we had to draw a line in the sand when we're going to re-platform the MyRivr app. And we knew there was a lot of savings with the new technology, with artificial intelligence,
using
with
AI
development.
as a platform, right?
But you save there, you might save in time, but you still have to get specialised AI engineers to actually be able to integrate that stuff. So you get faster delivery, but still a higher price with the specialised
Well,
skills
especially it's
required.
a new frontier as well,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
So that I can see.
So we decided to, after about a year or so doing this with Accelerating Aotearoa with yourself and ONAC, and we've got to take our hats off to you because you'll be managing that call centre for what, 12 months, the girls, and looking after them, and so we
Nothing ever really happens in isolation.
well, I mean, the thing is that we've been, I haven't been sort of as active as I'd like to be because we're sort of on the precipice of technology evolution. So I'm trying to balance my time with, can we bring this tech in? Can we achieve all this? And it can achieve it. I think the age of agents are coming, which is AI agents are coming. So we have to prep for all that stuff. But I think the thing is that the girls, the call centre, yourself, Jane, ONAC, the constant meetings we're having with the safety group as well as with the networks, we do need support. We do need a lot more heavier investment to do this because it's we can see what's coming up.
Yeah.
Government's coming into the AI space now. They can't be afraid of it anymore. They have to.
I was reading the Herald yesterday that they're really interested in access to entities or access to services using AI platforms as well. So it was logical, and thank goodness you took a jump.
Yeah, well, I would hope to think that when they decide to move into that space and heavily invest with that, that we would be someone on the top of the list to have a chat with our software.
Yeah.
What we've done, I think we've held off a lot of organisations and groups outside of New Zealand that want that product, that want what we've got. And the thing is that there's a lot of learnings. So just building an app is not enough.
No.
And we know that because ours is the only one out there. So if they think, oh no, everyone else has got an app, so not like ours, because if you did, we would know about it for starters. And if they do deliver a social service app, it's only for them, for that particular provider. And what you realise is that our app is for the community. It's a community version. So they are the ones that control who they get to see, who they get to talk to, who they are engaged or refer themselves to.
So there's the truth or the So what we've got is a community saying what service and what service providers they want. I guess supported by a community group as the representative agency, and then that's the partnership with MyRivr working together to make that happen for a community, and that becomes a demonstration project really, doesn't it? So you can say, well, we've done this at Ōtara, we could easily do that at Māngere or Tahu in Invercargill.
Yeah, so we are looking at expanding that whole thing once our artificial intelligence AI platform's up and running. We've already got all its concepts in place. We understand the tech. It's like I said, it's very fast to deliver, but it's very expensive to deliver as well. So it's a catch-22. It's a chicken and the egg scenario. We are working towards funding and stuff like that, and our hope is that we can build upon what we've already developed, rather than reinvent the wheel.
It makes sense.
I hope the government doesn't go around. I mean, if you have a look at what the police have done with their reinventing of the wheel with our one, it hasn't quite worked out as well. Because the thing is that police aren't an IT company.
They've had some very highly unsuccessful IT projects over the last 20 years.
Yeah, I think absolutely, and that's because they don't know any better. But what's happened is artificial intelligence is here now, so we can articulate the ideas better. We can, smaller companies can be very innovative and a lot more sort of flexible, really quick to turn around versus the big corporates that you pay gazillions of dollars to, or millions and millions of dollars to, and they sort of just prioritise projects based on profit. Right? And so, I think the thing is that we're in the. I think for us as in ONAC, MyRivr, Accelerating Aotearoa, Trust MyRivr, all our partners that are invested in this whole project, I think we're going to hit a precipice where we're going to take off. Because what we're doing now, the government's just come to realise
it's important. Yeah.
And then we hope that we'll be the first ones. Otherwise, if not, we'll just move.
We are the first ones, actually. Yeah. And I guess that's a really nice segue for people that are watching this interview, at the conversation, is that we, in a surprise effort, have appended to the back of this conversation. The next thing will be actually the footage or the little documentary we put together. Yeah. It's only 3 minutes or so, that was based on the launch of the AI platform that you did with the Ōtara community just last week. Yeah. So, and what that does for people watching this conversation is it actually articulates the whole elements of the AI platform that Robert's been talking about, and what we can look forward to as a community. And it will happen here at Ōtara first. Yeah. So thank you.
Hey everyone, today's a big day for Ōtara. We're here to celebrate the launch of the ONAC MyRivr Safety App 2.0, a next level tool designed to keep our community safe and connected. The event kicked off with a heartfelt karakia from our kaumātua Chris, bringing everyone together in the spirit of unity. We've got community leaders, local charities, and so many amazing people from Ōtara here to share in this moment. Jane from ONAC kicked things off with a warm welcome. She's buzzing with excitement about this app, which takes everything we've been doing and supercharges it. Then Robert from Trust MyRivr took the mic. He looked back on the past year, celebrating the progress we've all made together. Our developer Mike then explained that the new 2.0 version of the app integrates AI technology, using Google's Gemini to streamline the referral process. So, imagine being able to type or speak your needs, whether it's food assistant, counselling or housing, and having the app instantly connect you to the right services. This AI-driven approach personalises support, making it easier than ever for users to find what they need in their own language with just a few words. The app will soon feature emotional AI, designed to provide support for those who might be feeling isolated or alone, bringing a new level of empathy and connection to the user experience. Now, let's get into what makes our new 2.0 version so special. The AI assesses how urgent your request is and connects you to the right service provider based on what's available and your history with the app. No more waiting around. This system gets you the help you need fast. The app also offers personalized service recommendations. The AI looks at your behavior and preferences to suggest services that match your needs, whether it's community programs, health services, or social support. It's like having a personal assistant in your pocket, guiding you to the best resources. And to make sure no one slips through the cracks, the app has an automated follow-up system. After you've used the service, the AI will check in to see how things went, remind you of up-and-coming appointments, and even suggest additional services you might find helpful. But the innovations don't stop there. The partnerships with Selwyn Foundation has fueled further developments, enabling the expansion of these services across Ōtara and beyond. With this new version, the app will replace the current model, which has served the community for the past 8 years. The event ended in a question and answer session, and it was clear that this app sparked some enthusiastic debate. So, here's to the future. With this new app, we're not just keeping Ōtara connected, we're helping it thrive by taking it to communities at Mangere and Otahuhu. Thanks for being a part of this journey with us. Together, we're building something special. Something that's going to make a real difference in our community.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good launch today. We were sort of making announcements. Felt like a bit like Steve Jobs, you know, you make those announcements of the next iPhone and what it's going to feature in there. And so, yeah, it worked really well. The team worked really well to put this all together. And ONAC, and thank you, Judith, for helping us.
It's actually really interesting to see the the new app, like the 2.0.
I saw an app that can simultaneously take care of needs for people that are in need. They can do that straight away, and they can connect with the people that they require, and I think it's a wonderful tool that they have.
And what do you think about what you heard today?
What about our deaf family out there?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, how do we deal with the deaf? With the deaf.
I'm not dead yet.
I thought today was really cool. The thing I'm most excited about is the multiple languages. The Selwyn Foundation does a lot of work with older people, and language can be really isolating. So I love that the AI is being used to like optimize and break down that barrier.
The app itself is awesome. I think what we need to do from a community perspective is educate our whānau on what actually the tool, or how the tool can help them.
We manufacture the likes of the touchscreen kiosks.
Because my thoughts are getting them into schools for children that don't have lunch or are too shy to go and get the free lunches.
Exactly.
Then they're able to apply for them that way.
I was on free lunches in the UK when I was a little fellow. I was so ashamed that I never had any lunches.
Yeah, that's
Do you know what I mean? And that's why I think they're perfect. Perfect.
I love it.
I'm really thankful and grateful for ONAC and MyRivr and all the team for bringing this to our community and to also supporting it. It's an awesome tool, and it to be upgraded to 2.0, you'd think it's like, wow, this is just a bit too much, but it isn't. It's supposed to make it easier for our people to access.
Really helpful for us as a community, and exciting that we always say Ōtara's the home of the brave, it's home of the first, and go really this community's behind this app because already it's making big changes.
No, thank you. And thank you for having me here. It's amazing, and amazing, for you. So I'd like to give kudos to yourself, Judith, for what you've done. You've been there for the last 20 plus years with me with this journey. So it's been exciting, and it's great having you as a chair as well. So it's amazing. Thank you very much for your time and effort.
Well, it's an honour to work with somebody of such resilience. So that's the fan club session finished. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.